honestly, I giggle at how I came up with that. I have no idea why. Like, but he did. Lord George of Thick Boy was his name on Discord. Then he changed it to Georgie something, and I saw Georgie and that nursery rhyme, Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie. Kiss the girls, made them cry. That just like started going in my head over and over again, and I'm like Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie, and I'm like, oh, I could call him Puddin'.
Reminds me of like Joker stuff.
Yeah.
That's expensive,
Yeah.
but that's okay. You're worth it, baby.
Yeah, that's what Harley Quinn calls the Joker. Puddin'.
I like that.
Hey, Puddin'.
And yours is adorable. I'll give him that.
Is.
He's so fucking cute.
He's adorable.
I remember the first time I seen a picture of him, I literally was like swooning. I'm like, oh my god, you're so hot. Like, it was ridiculous. I'm like, oh my god, and I was all embarrassed because I'm like, oh my god, I seem thirsty as a motherfucker right now or something. I'm sorry, I've been late 4 fucking years, people. Give me a break, okay?
Do you know what? Do you remember what I wrote? I put,
no
fair. You're not allowed to have prettier hair than me.
Oh, that's right. I know. He's so fucking gorgeous.
He has.
No, I'm not.
He has like model
God,
gorgeous hair. He does. He's like that, like thick, curly. And it's kind of
years.
long.
It's a fucking desert in this area. Sucks.
But bald is sexy too.
No, I was joking around because Smithy's like 4 years. I'm like, yeah, it's been a long time. Well, it's because I was in an abusive relationship for so long, and now I'm gun shy at this point. So I'm scared to like hook up with somebody because you know, I have children and I'm a single mom, and I don't want to bring just some weirdo into my home around my kids. You know what I mean? So I gotta be very careful who I talk to. And they always seem perfect at first until the honeymoon phase is over, and then they turn into who they really are.
Exactly.
So I figured this is my thing. This is my thing, what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna, next time if I do decide to date someone sometime, or whenever in the future, I'm going to see them for 6 months first and just talk. And I won't even introduce them to my, I mean, I'll tell them about my kids, obviously, just so that they know. Because I don't want to be like, oh, hey, by the way, I have 3, you know, kids that have special needs, and I am a fucking nutcase, so, you know. But I'd like to be upfront about that shit. But I'm not going to have them meet my kids until after I know who they are, what type of person are they, do about 15 background checks, you know.
Have Seth do an investigation on them.
Exactly, yes. Seth will be King Cockblocker. Oh, I love it.
I don't blame you at all. But, you know, like, instead of them coming around you, take your kids and, like, go get some ice cream. Get your kids and go get ice cream. Meet him to get ice cream. Don't have him pick you up or, you know, go together. Have him meet you. That way, like, if things get weird, you know, you can grab your kids and you can leave. So you never want to put your kids in that position. But, yeah, I totally agree with you.
My daughter, like Katie, the oldest, is really does not. She don't care, or he. I gotta say he. I gotta get the pronouns right. So if I slip, I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
They are my daughter, but they want to go by he. So if I confuse anybody, that's just why I say he. But anyways, he's very, very. After the last relationship I was in, like I said, he was physically and mentally abusive, and he did some fucked up shit to my middle daughter. And so, like I said, I'm gun shy, but every time I talk about dating someone, my oldest daughter's like, oh, no, you're not. And it's like, not everybody's like that, Katie. Not everybody is a piece of shit.
Right.
You know, like, I just happened to put my guard down and didn't notice until it was too late.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just thought it was me, that I was the asshole, maybe. Maybe it was because maybe I said something wrong. And then you get into those modes where you're like, was it me?
Exactly.
Am I making them upset? Or, you know what I mean? And then I'm too nice to be like, hey, fuck off.
Yeah. And that's part of being abused. Like, I'm still working through all of that. And, like, trying to, like, I mean, I've told you some things, what I'm dealing with right now. And, like, it's, like, what do I do? Because, like, I feel one way, but logically I know a different thing. Like, I know that I shouldn't allow myself to question myself.
And it is tough because it's part of you, like, you're like me, like, part of you's like, well, what if they change?
Right.
Or what
right.
if, what if they do really feel bad? And then it's like, are they really feeling bad, or are they being manipulating?
Right.
It's just so hard to tell these days.
Right. Right. and I had this amazing, wonderful, beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Smithy. I appreciate it.
This relationship I had, when we had high moments, everything was absolutely perfect. But when he got in a mood, everything went downhill quick. And then when I called him out on his shit, he would turn around and try to say that I was doing things. And he would start in on me. And then I would have to get defensive. And then when we'd start yelling and cussing out each other. And I was like, I don't have to put up with this. I'm not putting up with this. And then when I tried to break up with him, he at one point, and I see this as manipulation now. I see it completely now, but not when it was happening. The whole,
exactly.
if I can't be with you, I have no reason to live. You're my everything. You're my world. And if you're going to leave me, I'm going to kill myself.
I've been at that point in my life where it was like I felt like that. I didn't want to kill myself, but it was like more like I felt like they were my world, and then they were helping like my ex. Like, and yes, Smithy, thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do though. Like, I can't just invite someone into my home anymore. Like, I got too much to lose. I got too much at risk, to have to worry about that. But yeah, it's like you have to, when you get in those situations, you have like rose-colored glasses on, and you think that maybe I'm the one being too picky, or maybe this is just how people are. And when you are abused, or when you're like molested as a child, or you're in an abusive relationship, or whatever the case, it's like your brain gets fucked, and you start making excuses for that person.
Right.
Thinking like, oh, it's okay, they did that because of this. Or now, if they have a mental disability, like I have or something, that's different. Your moods are going to change. That's normal. But you're not going to straight out treat that person like shit. If you're treating that person like shit, and like say you're cheating on them, you're hurt, you're physically assaulting them, you're cheating on them, like that just means you're a douchebag. Like there's something wrong with you, not me. But now I'm learning to love myself.
You know what he did to me though? Because I was like, you need to get some help. You need to go to therapy. I mean, like, I was willing to, like, if he wanted to go to therapy and he wanted to get on the phone and he wanted to be involved in, what was going on, or, bring in my opinion or my 2 cents, or, do something, be involved, I was willing to. I wanted him to really honestly see what he was doing and hear it from someone else that he was wrong.
But some people will even deny that. Like, I took Ian to a counseling, or couples counseling, I think it was. And he was literally, everything the therapist said, he, like, on the ride home, he's like, see, they agree with me. Like, no, they don't. They never said they agree with you. Like, they just said that they have to see both sides of the situation. Like, that's just what a therapist does.
You know what he told me?
And just like Smithy said, not all men are like that. See, that was my problem. I thought all men, were like that. And I'm like, that's not the case. Just like it's not like just men either. Like, there's shitty women out there that are manipulating assholes too.
Right.
That are abusive and physically assault their men, and it's okay because they're a woman, so it's all right. No, it's not all right. You don't fucking physically assault anyone.
Right. But what Ken did was, he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna make an appointment for therapy, and he told me he had an appointment. But it was like really quick. Like, how do you get an appointment for like 2 days from now, right? When you make an appointment, and his excuse was
a couple weeks.
Yeah. So he got an appointment like within days. Then he comes back to tell me that the therapist said that I need to work on myself, and I need to communicate with him better, and I need to listen to him.
Oh, yeah, right. First off, the therapist would have fucking said, like, hey, you guys both, they wouldn't say you need to do, that's not how a therapist talks, first off.
But,
they don't say, hey, you need to do this. That's not how any normal therapist would.
But you know how I said that every single time I told him how I felt that he was treating me and doing things to me, and that I really felt like he needed to think about what he was doing and saying and how he was making me feel, he would turn around and do something to blame me and make me the problem. He was manipulating me, and then he
sounds like a narcissist, because that's how Joe, my ex, the one that did the shit that he did, was he would always say, it was always somehow my fault, or that I was making things up, or I was crazy. And then I remember one time I had to call the cops, and he literally said, "Oh, she's bipolar. She's crazy. So don't believe anything she says." And he literally manipulated the cops to the point where they're just like, "Oh, we're just going to leave." I'm like, "You're not going to he was chasing me with a fucking butcher knife. You're not going to do anything about it?" But they couldn't prove it, so they called it a, what do they call it? What do they call that when you're, I can't think of the name of what they call it here, but basically they just said it was like a couples fighting, basically, and they just left.
Domestic abuse.
Yes, exactly. Domestic abuse. Thank you.
Here, but if you in Texas, if you get call, you can call, and and I'm serious. If a man comes at you and you defend yourself, both of you get arrested and go to jail. I am not kidding you.
Yeah, it's not too much like that. I mean, it depends on the situation. But like you said, like in certain states, they're a lot more on it. Than, see, this is a Commonwealth state where I'm at. So, it's funny because one time me and Savannah's dad, which he wasn't too bad. He's schizophrenic. Yeah. So he had a lot of mental health issues, and at the time we were both on drugs, so I think that didn't help.
Oh, wow.
But at one time, we had gotten into a big fight, right? And he kept coming up to me, and he's like, "Punch me, bitch. Punch me, bitch." I know boxing. I ain't stupid.
Bam!
Right and I knocked him on his fucking ass. And he spun me around, started punching the shit out of me. And the cop was like, "Well, did you hit him first?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I hit that motherfucker. He told me to." And the cop's like, "You realize I could arrest you for that, right?" He's like, "But I won't, because you guys are both obviously intoxicated." He's like, "You guys just both need to sleep it off."
Oh my God.
It was crazy. Oh my God. And he wasn't usually like that. Like, we never hit each other before that. I don't know what the fuck happened that day. I think we were both just like, I don't know. I think he was shocked that I hit him and knocked him on his ass, because he was a big dude. I'm 5'1". He's 6'2".
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't know how I got that high up to reach him, but I did it. We get along great now. Now that we're just friends and we co-parent, we get along fine. It's funny. Well, compared to me, Smithy, it seems huge, because everything compared to me seems ridiculously big. In Resident Evil 4, when they have the little guy in the one, I don't know if he's like a midget or whatever, he's the smaller guy that you have to fight in that one part, and he's hanging out with all the other guys who are way taller. Here's this guy, he's all the tall guys, right? And I'm like, I need to make that a meme and be like me hanging out with all of my friends. That's all. So little. You're 6'5"? Oh my goodness. That's gorgeous. I love tall men. I don't know what it is, but I think tall men are so gorgeous. I think my one ex, the dick-headed one, the piece of shit, he was only 5'5", so he was really tiny. So he really only came maybe a little bit taller than me. But I don't know what it is about tall guys. I just find them so attractive. They're so beautiful. I think it's because does the air smell better up there? Because it sucks being short, because you can't reach anything, and I have to climb on a chair to get anything. So annoying. Oh no, he has a family. I would never. But I do love tall men.
Scott says you should have gone low and not high. Teach him a lesson if you go low.
If I go low, oh.
Did you ever see a Miscongeniality? Is it Miscongeniality? Because she was an FBI agent, and she went undercover, but she was in the beauty pageant, and she was doing the whole SING, so it's a stomach, instep, which is your foot, nose, and groin is how you hit somebody to get out of a situation.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Hang on,
SING. That's how I remember that.
There you go. Yeah, I remember that movie. I used to love that movie.
You go low well, you go midsection, high, low, lower, and then low. So you go like kind of low like 3 times out of 4.
I know, it's funny because like all of my guy friends, like I told you, I've always had more guy friends, and I remember I was so mad because none of the guys had jumped in until he started like hitting me, then they pulled him off me.
Yeah.
But it was just funny because they're like, I'm like, why didn't anybody do anything right away? And they're like, well, you look like you had it, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I pretty much could hold my own if I needed to, I guess. But it was just funny because like everybody kept saying, you Mike Tyson his ass. And like, I don't know, I was just kind of proud of myself. I'm like, thanks. Because I don't like that shit. Like, you shouldn't be hitting each other. But I was just ridiculously drunk, and he just wouldn't. Literally, he was like this close to my face, just screaming at me, telling me to fucking hit him, and I'm like, all right, dude, wow. But I did not bite his ear off, Steph. No, I did not. I think it's because they meant because I knocked him on the ground.
I was never like physically around Ken, which I thank God for. I mean, like Crepa, you know, he has flat out. He has told me he doesn't understand the long distance relationship thing, but that is exactly why, like, I was doing that because we were fine. I thought he was one way, and then when something happened, he kind of started turning. And if I met somebody that lived across town and wanted, to hang out with them and date them or whatever, and like I start falling for them and like my whole, vision of them changes, and then 2 months down the road they turn into somebody I don't know. It's a lot worse on me, especially if you're intimate with them. It's a lot worse on you if you know somebody physically than it is if you know them through the phone and through, video calls, and you get to know them really detailed psychologically and everything. And no matter how much we fought, no matter how much we went through, there was never a physical altercation or anything with our fighting. It was never that bad, and I could just push a block button when I was tired of it. And I always, we always made up, and we always, ended up back together and everything. But honestly, I don't know if he really honestly loved me and he was really sorry, or if he was manipulating me. To this day, I cannot figure that out.
And like when you're in a situation where, like, say, you were married and you were in a situation where they were manipulating and they were a narcissist or a sociopath or whatever the case, you're just automatically assuming, like, well, they're just going to fuck me over somehow.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to decipher, like, what is me worrying too much and what is them treating me like shit. You have to, most of it's communication, as if you can talk with each other. But you have to be able to both be able to talk, not just one person.
Right. It cannot be one-sided.
Chat with each other.
It cannot be one-sided at all, and I'm at the age and at the point mentally and emotionally, I can have a conversation with someone and I can hear their viewpoint and their side of everything, and I can get mad, but I will not demean them, put them down, and go at them personally. You know what I mean? And that seems to be all I get.
Unless I'm drunk, that's why I quit drinking. Unless I'm drunk, then I might call you everything in the fucking book for no apparent reason. But that's because I don't drink anymore, because I'm an asshole when I drink.
But that's all I get is people coming at me and calling me names and demeaning me and telling me what's wrong with me.
See, there's never a reason for that. That's just fucking bullshit, personally, in my opinion. There's no reason to call someone names or to demean them or put them down for any fucking reason. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Crepa's an angel. He is absolutely, he's like, basically, honestly, I can go back over everybody that I've talked to and had relationships with and everything. I've been able to talk to Crepa for hours, and I hear, his opinion on things and his, what he says and his stories and his insight and everything, and I can have a conversation. He lets me talk and doesn't put me down for feeling the way that I do. And
see, that's awesome to have someone like that in your life, because it's tough.
It's
especially when you've been abused, because that's all you know.
Yeah. And he's my rock, and I need someone in my life like that. I need someone.
Oh, it's squashing. You mean spiders?
So, like, Karepa is a good example of how I need to, like, understand how a healthy relationship works, where you listen to each other.
Exactly, and it's tough when you're used to not having that, when you're used to not being heard or gaslighted or whatever the case. You know what I mean? Where is Heavenly at? Is Heavenly still in here? Because I think we're going to play some Dead by Daylight, and I want to make sure we have enough for custom games so we don't have to deal with the assholes that are random players. No offense against the random players, but sometimes they're awful.
I told you what was going on a couple of months ago, and when I told that person, I said, well, if Karepa doesn't like you and you can't get Karepa's respect, you're gone.
I do remember you saying that, because I think we're talking about if they make you choose, God damn it.
It's because he's very easy to get along with. He's wonderful. He's easy to talk to. And he...
Message him and see if he wants to play Dead by Daylight with us. We can play custom. Awesome. You want to play some Dead by Daylight, Heavenly? I figure we'll wrap up the talk and we'll play a little bit of... We'll play some Dead by Daylight in our stream. And then in about a half an hour, I got to order some food and get some Chinese food to me and the kiddos.
The Karepa's my little big brother. If he don't like you and he sees something, like, shady...
It's awesome.
I trust him.
You have to have people to protect you and friends to protect you.
Him.
That's how I look at Seth. Like, like if I ever have an issue, I know I can be like, hey, Seth, can you tell me what I should do? Because I don't fucking know. Because sometimes my brain doesn't always have the right idea. I always want to feel bad for the person. Like, that guy was stalking me. Like, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm being mean. Maybe I should give him a chance. And I'm like, no, you crazy ass. He was in jail and he's fucking being a dick. Like, don't bother. All right, awesome. Mikki, do you want to play some Dead by Daylight? We got 5 people if your friend still wants to play.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, then I'll pull it up.
Scott said that he has company in town, but he'll let us know when he's able to... play with us?
Well, we can play for a little bit. We only have to have one random person.
Right.
If that's okay with you, Seth. I mean, that's fine with me. I just don't like playing with all randoms because then it makes it really difficult to play. But, Seth, are you okay with that, with having one random player until... I don't know what Eurus is doing.
Yes, let's get pudding.
What's Godwin doing?
I have a sweet tooth.
Hey, Mickey's the thirsty one this time.
I'm gonna, you know what? Next time I talk to him...
I wasn't sure if you were okay with that, Seth. If not, then we can wait until later. It's not that big a deal. Like, we can just talk for a little while longer, and then I'll go get my food. So it's up to you. It don't really matter to me either way.
I'm gonna tell him he's making my diabetes act up.
That's funny.
He's so sweet.
Oh, yeah, he is. He is very sweet. He's hilarious.
I love teasing him like
he's
that.
Just funny in general. We think a lot like on the same level. Now it's like I used to hit on yours all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And now it's like he's become more like a friend. So like I hit on a lot less than I used to. Now it's your turn to hit.
Oh, but isn't that the best though? Like,
which he likes it though. So
I had a friend named Jason.
Why are you annoyed?
He worked at Six Flags.
Oh, play until you get annoyed. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Every time I went to Six Flags, I could, kind of flirt with him. We had what's called, and you can look it up, it's actually a word, it's called flirtationship. So we were friends, but we flirted.
I love to flirt. I don't know what it is about flirting. As long as, like, because I try to watch, because if it makes the person uncomfortable, then obviously I'm not going to.
Oh,
but I don't know what it is about flirting. It's so much fun.
Yeah. That's exactly how you would have described us. Like, every single time we saw each other, we would smile, hug each other, and then we would just automatically start, like, teasing each other and flirting. And
Flirting is harmless as long as like the other person's okay with it and you're not hurting anybody else, or you know what I mean.
Like I understood that it was just flirting. I wasn't his cup of tea.
Like I won't if they're like, and it depends on what kind of flirting, because I flirt regardless. I just have a flirty personality, but it depends. Like I won't say certain things if like they're married or if they're in a serious relationship, just because I don't want to hurt the other person. You know, I don't want to hurt their partner or get them upset because I know how that feels, and it fucking sucks. You play with Thistle. I love Lily. I fucking love her. I have such a crush on her.
He was dressed up as a cowboy. And, you know, I'm
in
Texas, and it's like cowboy. Mm-hmm. So I had all kinds of cowboy jokes.
Ooh, nice.
And then, like, he had, like, this little fake gun, and he pulled his gun out, because there was a cowboy show across the street, and there were some cowboys out, and he pulled his gun out, and he's like, hey! What did he say? He said something about, I thought you were just over here talking to me.
Some people get very upset by that. You know, I'm just harmlessly, like, you know what I mean? It's just fun to flirt with people.
I went over to him. I was standing between them, and my daughter had the iPad, and she was taking a picture. And he was like, hey, I thought you were over here talking to me. And I said, you know, I can't resist a good cowboy.
Oh, my God, I know it.
And then the other cowboy was, like, hugging on to me and taking a picture. And then he would... I didn't even really know his name. I gave him nicknames.
Oh, that's sweet, Sniffy. No, but you guys have been together for 9 years. That's cute. That's awesome. I don't think I've lasted more than 3 years with someone. Like, usually the 3-year mark gets to, should we stay together or should we separate? It always ends up. But the guys that I pick, usually it's like an abusive relationship to some degree. So usually it's like, oh, I need to get out of this. It's not healthy. You know, but you're going to have your ups and downs. That's perfectly normal. If you don't, then something's fucking weird. Because that's not normal. Gotta have ups and downs. Are you ready to play some Dead by Daylight? Seth said that he'll play for a little bit. Nice, Sniffy. Seth said that he'll play with a random kid. That's fine. Okay. You can do that too.
So there's a few people here.
No, that's only if I'm playing with just random people.
Okay,
I don't do that when I'm playing with friends, because then at least I have someone helping me.
I want to
My daughter's like, are you sure you want to play? You're just going to get upset. And I'm like, no, not if I'm playing with, because I was playing with all randoms, and they wouldn't help me, and I was getting so pissed. I was like, screaming. I was screaming, like, what? What? Get me here. Get me. I'm on the ground. Yelling at my computer with a second.
I want to let everybody know before I click off and leave. We're gonna start doing this on Wednesdays, and we're just gonna like chat. Maybe we should come up with some kind of topic we can talk about, so that we kind of have something we're talking about.
Yeah.
But bring someone in if like on certain weeks, or every other week or once a month or whatever. We'll come up with something to bring someone in and ask them questions and get their opinion on certain things. Like
Oh, thank you for the follow, Boomer Scott. Thank you for popping in.
We
were finishing up our chatting, and we were going to go play some Dead by Daylight. If you want to stick around and watch us play some Dead by Daylight, that's what we were going to do for a little bit before I got to go get some Chinese food for my kiddos.
So that's what we'll be doing. I think Cross left. But if he's streaming, I'll see if Ray's streaming too.
Ray Sniffy. I know, I get so frustrated.
Ray's streaming. I'm gonna raid Ray.
Cool.
I'm gonna raid
that's
Ray.
Fine. I'm just gonna keep mine up for a little bit longer, because I figure you guys can watch me play Dead by Daylight, and then once I'm done, like, I'll play that for a little while, and then I'll go get some food here in a little bit.
Okay, awesome. So
awesome, yeah. Oh, that's cool, Scott. Yeah, we love playing Dead by Daylight.
If y'all want to go,
actually looking for a fifth if you want to play with us, so that we can play a custom game instead of with the random killer, because we're a person short at the moment.
If y'all want to head over to
thank you, Snippy.
Myers' stream, we're gonna be playing, and she's gonna keep it going over there. And I'll join in. Okay. So I'm fixing to go to Ray's.
Alrighty. Let me figure out how
Sienna